Lions TV. This is the Den Daily, bringing you all the latest gossip, views, and transfer news from in and around the Den. Last week, I posted a video, I'll put it down there, and it was called Centre Back Needed. I feel that we all feel we needed a centre back when Joe Edwards took over. I said that I felt the rebuild would start from the back, and as good as our defenders and the goalkeepers been for us down the years, I feel that Joe Edwards is going to try and change the face of things at the club and play a different way and incorporate a new ethos at the club. So that will probably see the end of Barkowski. He's not really in the side anyway at the minute. Also, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson, Ryan Leonard, who can play, but as well is aging, and Murray Wallace. Since that point, the defenders actually, we found out, can actually play. And that's through Joe Edwards saying, keep doing it. I don't care if you fuck it up, keep doing it. But with injuries now coming on top in those areas, or some of the players I've just mentioned, I think we definitely do need to strengthen in the squad as a whole, and definitely in the defensive area. Joe Edwards said after the defeat against Middlesbrough on Saturday that we do need to strengthen. So we had 4 players named in that video. I'll put the link into that at the end on the screen. You can click it if you haven't watched it already. One of them was a Millwall player already, of course, Alex Mitchell, but we've heard nothing on that. That's just sort of incorporating who we could have and throwing him into the mix. So I think you can discount Alex Mitchell altogether. A player that had previously been a Millwall player, Charlie Cresswell, was thrown into that mix, along with Alfie Gilchrist and Alfie Dorrington. Journos have now come out and said, Jake Sanders, I think, reposted something from a Tottenham journo that the Dorrington one isn't happening. And then in the week, the Gilchrist thing sort of gathered speed again. And we said what we originally knew. You know, he had good links with Chelsea, Joe Edwards, and he probably could go back if he wanted to and bring in Gilchrist, who featured recently in cup matches for Mauricio Pochettino. And then today, I mean, I'm struggling to know what to call this video. It'll be out by now. I don't want to put out clickbait. Of course I don't, with Charlie Cresswell. Everyone's absolutely lost their heads today. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie Cresswell is trending by the end of today. It's come out from Alan Nixon originally, okay? Now, I find personally Alan Nixon to be reliable. I actually pay for his content on Patreon. Some of you disagree with that. And as a whole, I mean, today, again, look at this with the Gilchrist thing. I'll put it on the screen now. Now, that Gilchrist thing there has been put out by Darren Walcott, or whatever his fucking name is, Co-op. I can't even go it on the screen at the minute. I've had to go off memory, but that's definitely not his name. But you get the message. He's put that out. Jake Sanders has retweeted that. So, as a fan base and as someone who puts videos out on YouTube, we have to have something to scope it from. Now, for me, that's good enough to go with video. However, then you see someone who's not even involved in this, they're obviously talking about different things, a QPR fan saying, when will people realise that this Walcott, whatever his fucking name is, doesn't know what he's talking about? This is the problem with journos, right? I think journos get a little bit of a fucking, not unfair criticism, but it's a difficult job, isn't it? And I think that you could get, I mean, I'm not a journo, of course I'm not, but I do put transfer stuff out there. Usually when I know 100% it's concrete, usually I know it's concrete before I can put it out, and I have to wait for the legend, the messiah that is Richard Cowley to go with it. But I mean, look at the Ollie Burke one I put out. And I got told almost firsthand that Ollie Burke was coming to Millwall. And things in football can change. So in regards to journos, they can get 5, 6 right. They get one wrong and they're just fucking putting the firing line. And it's not even getting one wrong. It's situations changing. Okay? Things can change in football very, very quickly. Like I've found out firsthand with the Ollie Burke thing. So I think they're getting a little bit of unfair shit. Like, I know it's the world of social media and Twitter, and everyone thinks they're fucking in the know, and I've heard this and I've heard that. And I say, some people go, you don't know fuck all, mate, shut up. It may be true. Maybe I think I find stuff out that's quite reliable, and it turns out not to be. But look, this is why we're here. We love to talk about, and if don't let the journos do what they do, we'll have no transfer news to talk about. For me, that's going to be a lot worse. So in my mind, in my opinion, it looks to me now like we're going after Gilchrist, and I think that'll be the more realistic fit for us in terms of where we are with budget. We can get him in, literally paid nothing towards his wages, I would have thought. He can come in on a Joe Edwards, who has links to Chelsea, and we can give him game time until the end of this season. Then he can go back and continue his Chelsea career. Everyone's a winner. But the Charlie Cresswell stuff has gathered so much pace, over the course of the day. My phone has not stopped. Everywhere I look, it's Charlie Cresswell this, Charlie Cresswell that. So let's look into that a little bit more because look, right here, right now, these are the facts. Charlie Cresswell is going somewhere, okay? He isn't happy at Leeds. He signed a deal when he went back there in the summer after being on loan to us. I think he played something like 30 odd games for us, scoring 4 goals. Terrible first half of the season, despite the 2 goals in the opening day, in my opinion, but really got to grips with it in the second half of the season. And it's very easy to say, this is a unique club, and he gets it. You got to understand Millwall to play for Millwall. And I think, yes, I do agree with that to a point, but lots of fans, or almost all fans from all clubs, will have the same. Our club's unique, and you've got to understand the club to play for the club. When in reality, a lot of the players just come, they're doing a job on loan. They try their best because they want to get a contract or they want to get back to where they came from and break into that first thing. However, in this instance, I do agree. Charlie Cresswell seemed to go above and beyond to enjoy his time in SE16, and there's loads of things that stand out for me. The one where he got the whack in the fucking face and his eye was swollen up, and he posted the picture, didn't he? There's also footage. He's on a train. I'm sure he's on a tube with Ian Fleming, and either Fleming's filming him or someone's filming them both, and they're singing Millwall songs. Of course, the guy up at Preston as well with the old Terry Butcher headband. That made a big thing for me, a big impact. And you could see he was really invested. Even the last game of last season, after the Blackburn defeat, I think he was injured for that game, but he was on the pitch. Tyler Bury was giving it one of them, fake clapping, and Cresswell was going around, not giving it this one to the fans and clapping them. And he did really seem invested in Millwall Football Club. Now, Leeds have said that Charlie Cresswell is available to buy for £4 million at least, okay? That was the only, for me, stumbling block in us potentially getting Cresswell. If I had £4 million, I would run out and buy him straight away if I was the club. He's 21 years old, and instead of going out and buying a fucking £1 million player for now that will last 2 years, then in another 2 years buying another £1 million player, I think you go out now, you spend the money, you get Cresswell, you get serious games out of him, you get 2-3 decent seasons, and if he doesn't progress and then go on to bigger things and we get a money for that and get great service out of a player that we paid £4 million for, probably double our money plus all the games he's played, then I think you've got another Jake Cooper in the line. You know, even a better player than Jake Cooper potentially in the long term. You could get a Millwall legend out of it. Could be at the club a long time, and £4 million looks like a pittance in that instance. So he is going to go somewhere. Okay, he's not vented personally, but his dad, ex-league striker Richard Cresswell, played for Preston as well, scored a load of goals in the Championship back in the 90s. He's put out, and I put that in the other video, saying he'd love to see him play again soon at some point. Obviously, of him in his Millwall kit, because that was his most recent and only loan, I think, to my knowledge. So Charlie Cresswell is available to buy for £4 million. Okay, Alan Nixon went with that story. For me, that's good enough for me to go, okay, well, let's have a chat about it then. It's been tweeted from another page, Rovers Latest. They've got 8,000 Twitter followers. That's a Blackburn Rovers fan page. Now, if you've got how many thousand on Twitter, that doesn't always mean anything, okay? It could be a false audience, but you can't discount it completely with that one, that follow one club that potentially could have irons in the fire and be in the know a little bit. But there's others that have tweeted now, and it's this Transfer Centre 9. Don't really want to give them the airtime, but it's the same one that said, well, Billy Mitchell is keen on a move to Charlton, and Charlton want to buy him. Charlton ain't got a pot to piss in, and they will not be buying Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is not keen on a move away from the den, especially to Charlton. So everyone's now waiting for the Messiah, Richard Cowley, to either fucking back it or squash it. Cowley, I love him, okay? Of course, he's the go-to for all of us. He's the fucking voice of reason. But I'm sure, and it's not a dig at him, it's just showing exactly what I said earlier can happen in journal. I'm sure he said when Sarkic was put up for coming to Millwall, partly wish he didn't actually come there, but anyway, that's another story. I'm sure that Cowley said at the time, this isn't happening. And then Sarkic eventually did end up signing for us. So I wouldn't play too much into, this one said that and this is not happening. This one said that. What Cowley said today from that Transfer News 9 or whatever it's fucking called, he said, I'd ignore this page. He hasn't said it isn't happening because they put out today, Charlie Cresswell on the verge of joining Millwall, £2 million, plus the extra £2 million they want, depending on appearances, etc., etc. Now, Cowley's come out and said, I wouldn't take much notice of this, but he hasn't said it isn't happening. So for me, as I said before, plain and simple, Charlie Cresswell wants out of Leeds. Leeds have said, You can buy him for £4 million. And that's not come from News and fucking Transfer 9. It's not come from Jason Co-ops or whatever it's fucking called. Right, that's come from Leeds. Charlie Cresswell's available for £4 million to buy. I did say, as I said in that video I put out last week, that I felt the stumbling block for us could be the fee. If we could scrape it from somewhere, 100% I'd do it, with our backline aging and not getting any younger. And with a new manager coming in who wants to play out the back, we know Cresswell can do that. And I think he could be a force for us going forward and really sort of build the team around him, playing out the back, and hopefully get others on board then, younger players going forward. But look, apparently, Borough are in for him, Ipswich are in for him, Blackburn and us. A loan, yes, please, we take that, but again, a loan, and he comes and does well, and we get another Chris Wood, another Darren Huckabee fucking instance, don't we? If we can buy him, then buy him. Are we going to buy him? I don't know. But for me, Richard Cowley hasn't blown out the water yet. He hasn't said, no, it's not happening. He just said, I wouldn't take too much notice of this, talking about that one particular tweet from that one particular unreliable Twitter page. So for me, I think that, as I said, he's played 38 games for us last season. He's clearly invested in the club, and I think he would welcome it. Yes, he's 21. He probably still lives at home at 21 years old. So would he want to come down, and probably Blackburn a lot fucking closer to Leeds than Bermondsey is, isn't it? So we will wait and see. But I definitely think there's something in it. I don't think it's complete bullshit, but I will wait and see. And as I said, hopefully be coming back to you later this week with a Charlie Cresswell signs for Millwall and breaks the transfer record. However, if I'm truly honest, I still think it's going to be Gilchrist that we're going to get in, but I'll keep you posted from any more that I hear. So, in effect, I know absolutely nothing. So maybe this was clickbait. No, it wasn't. I'm just saying, look, let's call the Jets a bit with fucking hating on Chernos and fucking everyone having meltdowns. I've had so many messages today. Do you know anything about Cresswell? Do you know anything about Cresswell? I don't know anything about Cresswell. All I'm saying is Leeds, as a football club, have said he's available to buy. He's played for Millwall before, seemed invested in the club, and I would love it if we did sign him. More on it, hopefully, as it comes. He'll probably sign for Borough tomorrow for £5 million, but there you go. That's football, and that's the life as a Millwall supporter. Please subscribe to Lions TV. I'll be back tomorrow for a preview for Saturday's game away to QPR for members that will go live to the YouTube public on Thursday evening. Come on, you Lions.